Let's wrap it up. Last team, 32 out of 32 this week. Win totals for the Tennessee Titans. Their projections at 5.5, 5.5, just like the Jets and the Browns. The lowest win total or over-under in the AFC, tied with the Browns and Jets. 5.5 for the Titans.
One of only 3 teams with no primetime games this season on the schedule. Cleveland was one of the other ones. I forget who the third team was, though.
Really doubling down on the Cam Ward hate.
I mean, the whole...
there was a time in sports where the primetime games were not just the biggest ratings driver. It was actually, there was a point where the national games, you would be like, hey, I never get to see this team. This is a great opportunity to see these players I don't see. But then it's really become a big-time money grab where Sunday Night Football's vying for every Cowboys big game and Monday Night Football once. And I get it. But there was a time when you used to get exposed to lesser teams in primetime, and it was like the only opportunity you might see, and it was a great way for the players to make a name for themselves.
I mean, like the rest of the world, this is just the way everything has gone in the last 50 years, where we have skewed towards the things that move the needle.
Some people could say, look, check the mic. They used to do stuff like draft watch-alongs and things that I really loved that got lesser views. Now they do these all 32 team shows. They get way more views because you get all the fan bases involved. Maybe we've sold out too, Sam.
At least we're talking about all 32 teams. We're not just being like, nah, we're only going to talk about the Cowboys for the next 6 weeks.
No. Our version of selling out is bringing in all 32 team shows to the table here. Titans are a tough one to peg here. Year 2 of Brian Callahan, but year 1 of a massive front office overhaul. So it's new talent and players coming in. And remember, 2 years ago, we thought the Titans were supposed to be in full rebuild, and it was like the first half of their offseason. It looked like it until they started making trades for veterans. And so they're in reset mode here as far as getting younger. And I don't know how much, there's a reason why they're at 5.5. I don't know how much of that gets to show up on the field here in year 1. And you have the unknown of a rookie quarterback in Cam Ward.
Yeah, I mean, so the third team that has no primetime games, the Saints. So they basically said, if you have no answer whatsoever, a quarterback, or your answer is like a rookie, you're not making the primetime games this year.
Yeah. So
I mean, I think the Titans are going to be a pretty exciting team to watch this year. Cam Ward, whatever you think about him in terms of how good he can be, he's an exciting quarterback to watch. I mean, we've talked about him being on that spectrum, one end of which is Josh Allen, the other end of which is Will Levis. He's on that somewhere. Like, those guys are both funny to watch for different reasons, but you're entertained. You know, I mean, Will Levis, in terms of entertainment value per throw, provided more entertainment last year, I would argue, than any other quarterback in the NFL. Levis, on a weekly basis, was providing the meme for the week based off what he was doing. So if you have a guy that's capable of doing that and more, it's only good. I think the Titans will be a fun watch.
Hey, guys, just taking a quick break to tell you, hey, just over 50% of you are still unsubscribed to Check the Mic. It helps the channel. It helps to make sure that you don't miss any of our shows. So if you have a chance, hit the subscribe button right now. Here's the other quirky stat that we brought up a lot in our game previews last year. Yards per game allowed or gained. Terrible stat for evaluating an offense or a defense. But if they're at the extreme ends, usually the best offenses gain the most yards, and usually the best defenses allow the fewest yards, right? The Titans allowed the third lowest yards per game total on defense. They were third lowest in yards per allowed, but second or third highest in points per game allowed. That is a rare combination. And it was because, remember how bad their special teams was, and just some quirky things going on. And you have Levis. Levis has pick sixes and different, like, that all factors in, right? Is that a reason for optimism for Tennessee, that the defense was actually a little bit better than expected? And again, special teams can't be as bad. Maybe Cam Ward will throw a couple pick sixes or whatever, but you think he'll add a little bit more to the offense, even as a rookie. So that was one where, like, I was trying to articulate last year, like, the Titans are feisty and the defense is tough, but they're giving up all these points and they're just screwing up a lot of situational football. But that should get better.
Yeah, I don't think the Titans should be nearly as I don't think they should have been as bad as they were a year ago, and I don't think they should be anywhere near that bad this year. Like it took Will Levis, forget the memes. The memes were the thing that sort of typified his or came to embody him. But the real problem with Will Levis, a quarterback, is he was bringing no positive to the table. Like he wasn't, in addition to making one meme play a week, he was also just not moving the ball enough. Like he wasn't bringing enough positive plays, positive throws to the table. So they couldn't really win games, right? You were basically starting off -1 on the catastrophic turnover ratio, and the quarterback was never doing enough to take you back to even at any point in the game. So it was really difficult to win football games that way. You take that out of the lineup and you're immediately way better. They shouldn't have been the number 1 overall pick a year ago, but teams kept winning their way out of that number 1 pick late in the year, the Giants, the Patriots. So overall you look at it and you say, okay, there's some weaknesses in this team, obviously, but there's also some strengths. Like the level that the roster is in is not terrible. The line has moved in the right direction still. They're chipping away at that. They're not going to be good, I wouldn't have thought, on the offensive line, but they should be fine. Cam Ward should be a huge upgrade over Will Levis, even if he makes some, major mistakes, some turnover-worthy plays. Receiver is intriguing because they didn't do a ton to that. Calvin Ridley is a good number 2. They still have that kind of vacancy, the void at number 1. But I mean, I think the Titans can be fun to watch and win some games this year.
I've gone over for every AFC South team though, so I got to go under, I guess. Unfortunately, but
maybe the AFC South is just going to be a much better division than you think.
I think there's reasons for optimism for all of them. That's why our Reasons for Optimism show did well. Go check that out. I'll just say under for the Titans because I have to, but
I'm going to go over for them. I don't know how it's working, but they're going to get their wins from some other division.
Yeah, long term they're interesting to me because of all the moves that they're making and trying to get younger, and they've had some uncertainty there over the last few years. I think they have a chance to get it back on the right track this year. Under for I'll just take over. Who cares? Nobody's keeping track of this, Sam. Over for the Titans. In case Ramon and the Nashville people call to get me on radio. I got to be optimistic for them. Everybody's going over.
Thanks for watching all the way to the end of our video.
For more great content, click here to subscribe and here to watch another video. We'll see you again soon.